I'm ready.
Okay, so you have seen this here before.
Yes.
This is your business. Your signature service is in the middle, that is grounded in your idea about the world, yourself, and everything,
Okay.
which I call signature pattern.
Ah,
And this is an overlap of your profession, your personality, your passion, and you solve other people's problems with it. And then you can deliver it in different sizes.
yes.
What I'm doing here now with you is my 90 minutes intro session.
Okay.
You just tell me a little bit about yourself and your life.
Okay.
What have you been doing before you became a coach?
I did a lot of finance, a lot of marketing, a lot of strategy, a lot of traveling. I always had a lot of idea about what could be done. The business was going really well. It's massive. That was fun. I went to China almost with nothing, with a hand check, and started to work for an entrepreneur who wanted to move to shipbuilding. And for me, that was the most exciting part. Lots of negotiation, lots of relationship with buyers. My ego was very happy with the story I could tell to everybody, but I was not enjoying the business. Lots of everything, and at the same time, lots of nothing. And the business became big as well.
How did you get into coaching?
I was not interested at all in the business. I was interested in the growth. I was interested in the creation. I was interested in the unknown. But every time the people I met and the greed I met, I was disappointed that it was only about selling and making more money and the consequences it was having on people, on families of the colleagues, on the backstabbing, the brutality, the violence of the business attitudes. This was not something in me. And I started to say, okay, let's explore coaching. I said, oh my God, this is fantastic. I wish I had that when I was at school. I wish I had that when I was in my first business and my second business and my third business. And then people started to want to work with me. People who were learning with me, they wanted me to be their coach.
Why?
It was very natural at it. I was very natural. I was not afraid. I was direct. I was caring. I was also a little bit vast in my, I was not the typical smooth, only one style of questions or behavior. I was quite vast in my behavior. And also after a conversation with me, due to practice conversation, they felt much, much, much clearer. Also, I don't know, it's always happened to me, this thing in school, in business, in professional life. I really see them. People feel very empowered. They feel very able and they're not afraid of being who they are when they are with me. People felt I was not judging them.
How come you have this? Is it connected with your big business experience?
Oh, this is connected with before big business. This is connected with my education and my life story before my education.
What happened before?
Before, I witnessed a lot of things when I was a child. I witnessed a lot of dysfunction. I had to learn to read people very early. Read people. Therefore, when people come to with questions or doubts, I rarely flinch. I had this moment of clarity when I said, from now on, everything changed. And it's not only changing with me, it's going to change across the whole ancestral tree. Everything will be cleaned. Nothing. I'm going to clean that up once and for all. I wanted to understand why people do what they do from a fluid space. I wanted to be in a space which was still uncharted. It's very important in everything I do. A space which is uncharted, space where of course, you bring everything with you. All the other stuff have been said and written, but we are building novel territory. We're discovering novel territory, novel as in deeper. And that's why coaching became so interesting to me as a space of exploration. I ended up doing coaching with corporate people because those were my people. I knew them well. I knew they would pay well. I had a very good profile. It was so easy to sell. And I knew that many of them were feeling miserable. A good profile because my story was very easy to sell. I was 33, had been in very successful business, lived in China, spoke a few languages, based in Singapore, not afraid of speaking to anyone, not afraid of standing up. People knew that. And yes, so they wanted that for themselves. Of course, I had to start everything from scratch because the network I had was not particularly inclined to coaching. Far from it. Even my friends were laughing when I said I was going to do coaching. They were really laughing. But I believed in it.
What are you passionate about if you're not coaching?
I'm passionate about life, the making up of life. Like, how does it work, this thing we call life? Like life, behavior, consciousness. I love sailing. I love tennis. I love running. I love writing, dinners with friends, music. But for me, it's all the same thing. It's just, how does it life shows up? How does it manifest? How does it change? How does it connect? How does this, that's the only thing I'm interested in. How do we come about? How do we make meaning of all that? How do we
Yeah.
relax into it? How do we relax into it? Yeah, how do we allowing ourselves to happen, basically? I look at stuff about the universe. I read things about quantum physics. From a very long time, I read poetry. I'm fascinated by biology. There is spirituality. There is nature as a natural expression. So philosophy is very interesting as a process of exploration, but it's just one. I'm very interested by, yeah, the unknown, the stuff which are everywhere.
This is it, unknown.
Yeah, yeah.
Non-afraid or curious, or
Yeah,
but curious is almost too small.
yeah, there is audacity maybe or daring in what I do. Audacity and there is a creative spirit.
The image that I'm getting here is you, the explorer on a ship, vastness, exploring uncharted territory. Okay, what I see here is that you learned very early in life, like the worst things, you already experienced that as a child.
Yeah,
So that gave you a baseline that helps you go further than others because you survived that.
yeah, yes,
And that's why, although you're afraid, you were also afraid back then. Otherwise, of course, you were, but you survived.
yeah,
And then it looks to me like you went into business because that's just what was there. And then you expanded it more and more. First it was in France, and then you went into the world, and then you went into the shipping business, which I think is also really symbolic in a way.
yes,
Because shipping, the big business, it was also exploring the oceans. Maybe only from your desk, but you talked with the big people, and
yeah.
you're not afraid of talking with the big people. So that shaped you.
Mm.
But your scare came back again and again.
I believed success, achievement, whatever name you give to it, would allow me to finally experience serenity. That's the only thing I've been after.
What speaks more to you? Exploring uncharted space or novel territory?
Ah,
The ship,
I think it's about really venturing into the unknown for me.
venturing into the unknown.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's what it is. And it's an unknown. It's like it's a real, almost like a destination. It's a real thing. It's
the unknown.
unknown, yes. It's a real, it's so rich. The unknown. Venturing into the unknown. Venturing. Dropping. Dropping is better.
Dropping into the unknown.
That's my biggest fear. Is like drop. I can see there are drops to do. Yes. That speaks to me. Whew. Yeah.
So I don't know how we draw the unknown,
Like a black hole.
dropping into the unknown.
Here it is.
Let's try it out how it works. At the core of what you're doing is to drop into unknown. It's not a tagline, it's beneath
No.
the tagline. If it's not exploring the unknown and venturing into the unknown and going out into the ocean, it's not interesting.
Mm.
This is like a compass for you.
Mm.
That's what you did so far.
That's what I did unconsciously and then consciously.
And you're interested in the biggest possible topics.
Yes. I'm very interested in the infinite. There is one talk when I was 12 years old, which I still remember today, is we talk about the infinitely big and the infinitely small. And that's been my guide since then. I'm interested in the infinitely big and infinitely small. I'm interested in the unknown is just unpacking the known. That's what is the unknown. It's nothing more than that. It's just it's the unknown is always available,
Mhm.
provided that we create access.
Accessing the unknown,
Yes, creating access. Access to what's unknown to you
is
now.
that better than dropping?
Accessing the unknown. Or engaging with the unknown. Yes, that's what I do. I engage with the unknown, whatever the scale. Uh,
Yes.
it's magic what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're helping the big people still.
No, I like to work with medium-sized system. I like to work with people who have enough space for growth in their life. So generally speaking, those are people at the top of organization. I like to coach where the highest leverage point. So it's either at the top of an organization or someone when they make a transition in their life or someone who venture into coaching. I really choose very carefully this point, this leverage point.
And you have no problems finding these people.
So far, no.
Yeah.
I
Also
think
interesting that you say you want people who have space at the in the middle they are squashed. You want the highest leverage point, which is also going into the like the biggest ocean possible on the highest mountain possible. Yeah, so
yes,
you need the space and the vastness. Vast is, I think,
it's a big deal.
yeah,
Yes, it's a big deal. If I see someone doesn't, I don't mind someone being very worried and I have no problem. Someone who's done terrible things doesn't matter to me. But do you have the capacity to create space for your growth space for yourself? If not, then we cannot work
yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
It's like someone who is really about, who is too hooked on a substance. It's too
Mhm.
powerful for them to do anything. Another type of intervention is needed.
Is it engaging with the infinite?
Engaging. No, no, the unknown is
It's
good enough.
unknown, unknown. Okay.
Because unknown can be everywhere. Unknown can be here between us. It
Yes.
can in the universe. It can be with my dog. It can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I,
Okay.
if I was to unpack the unknown for less than a minute, for me, what matters is how does the moment come to life? What's emerging moment after moment, and how are we co-creating what we call life by being more aware of this creative process? Whatever the scale, you can look at it. Some people need like big Lego blocks, and some people have the capacity to go at the atomic level. It doesn't matter. If the starting place is a big Lego block, maybe that's good enough. We can look into the medium-sized Lego block. And little by little, we go into more and more nuance, and then there is so much space.
Okay. So here it is.
Okay.
Your service, and this is not the real name, but it means so much space service.
Yes.
There is just so much space. You just have to engage with the unknown. So
Yeah.
this is at the core of what you're doing, and you don't call it so much space service. But I think it would be good to have in your messaging words like vast and space and creating space, and even if you're afraid, these possibilities are available.
Yes.
You have to give them a taster of how much space they can create in their life by engaging with the unknown.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a PDF where you give them a taster, something they can consume very quickly, but gives them a taste of your big program.
Mm.
And in your initial session, you probably do that anyway, in your 60 or 90
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I don't
minute
know
session.
but I don't do it on purpose. What I do is I show generally when someone speaks to me, I show how much is visible and unknown to them. Like what
Yeah,
is the Johari
yeah.
window? The
Hmm.
Johari window, I play a lot with the Johari window. So I show them I'd say, oh, they didn't. Or yesterday I did it again and people were talking and then we went just a couple of layers below what they were saying and there's so much space suddenly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
You show them the space.
Yes, and then they can choose.
Yes.
I am not choosing
And then
ever
they can hire you for your longer
if they want to.
packages. Yeah.
If they want to.
And now the reason why we're doing all this, then your methodology. Let's start there because we have done already work on that. The reason you have it is the engaging with the unknown.
Yes.
And you can probably make a few more detailed frameworks around it, but your idea is all about engaging with the unknown. You should have a 3-step clear, and you promise them not engaging with the unknown, but you promise them space.
And the space to choose, the capacity to choose.
Yeah.
We choose and choose again without any issue.
Yeah, you have to promise something that they want, but obviously you know what they want. And they do that by engaging with the unknown, if they know it or not, but you know it. And it will give more coherence to your whole marketing. And the
Yes.
reason they don't have it yet, the symptoms that they're experiencing when they come to you is something like insecurity or
Yes.
burnout or something.
Insecurity, constrained, they feel locked in,
Don't have the space.
no energy, no space,
Yes. And
confused.
yeah, and they have tried stuff before. This is the
Yes.
landscape of your competitors that are the business coaches that are giving them all the wrong stuff.
Yeah, I have that.
The big misconception that keeps them stuck, we talked about that, the left brain.
Yes. Yeah.
This is birthing all the small problems that they're now dealing with.
Yes, it's true.
And you found out about this in your story,
Yeah.
and then you jumped into a new career.
Yeah, then I expanded.
You were
I wanted to push.
again engaged with the unknown.
Yes. Slowly I embrace the unknown more and more. Now I can feel right now, this year is another big turning point.
There is so much space available. That's your promise. And you have the empathy and the authority to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a movement.
It's your pattern, what you're doing again and again.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
are. This is your business.
Wow, nice. That's really clear. It's super useful. It's so useful to have this red thread, also to recognize it. It's really helping to witness also the thread. Because of course I would not have, even today I recognize quite a few things, which some of it, okay, was clear, known and articulated, but some of it was hiding in the background and not visible to me as much. So now it's becoming more, even, yes, there is this, the unknown keeps shifting also and twirling a little bit. So it's very interesting to see also what was at work and how this movement is basically a fractal, keeps functioning. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the visual, it's not very pretty, but maybe it does.
It does the job. Does the job. Yeah, it's true. It's thrilling. That's also the drawing you did. And that's when collective intelligence came into the game. It's been super useful, super illuminating, very effective. It's very useful for me. Now I can work with this as I work with your other processes.
Yeah.